buongiorno. È un vero piacere per me essere qui con voi a Milano, in questa bellissima città. Io vengo sempre molto volentieri qui, adoro gli eccellenti ristoranti e i bellissimi monumenti storici. Mia moglie ama tanto Milano, ma per fare shopping. Per fortuna questa volta sono qui da solo, così non c'è pericolo per il mio portafoglio. Sorry, that's all I can say in Italian. I'm very pleased to attend this event. My name is Satoru Hayashi. As Frederico explained, I've been doing this executive vice chairman for many years. I've been living in Munich for the last 9 years. I just flew in this morning. Today I'd like to share with you regarding Fujitsu's vision of Human Centric Intelligent Society. To start with, just a brief explanation about Fujitsu. Federico has already explained, so I just touch on the key part. As far as R&D portion of Fujitsu was 1.9 billion euro last year, which is 5.3% of the whole revenue. We have about 1,500 people working at the Fujitsu laboratories and working on the very innovative stuff. Another thing is Fujitsu was born in 1935, a little bit older than me, which will be the second oldest global IT company just next to IBM. We are even older than HP, and Apple is a baby. Today's world is surrounded by very exciting new technology, and we could benefit of combining all these technologies such as mobility, big data, social, cloud, and so forth to achieve something new which we have never done before. But we are also facing some issues. By 2030, they expect that the population on the earth will be reaching 8.3 billion, which is creating some issues. One of the issues is aging. Japan, which I'm from, will have 37% of the whole population, which is older than 60 years old. Of course, I'm one of those. And I don't know the statistics for Italy, but I assume that 30% or so of the whole population would be older than 60. The growing population also creates some other issues. Food. They expect that the food production should be increased 50% by 2030 to feed this 8.3 billion people. And also urban population would be rising to 60% again by 2030. So aging, pollution, urbanization, natural disaster, and climate change, we are surrounded by all of these new challenges. But we believe combination of those new technology and also advancement of the technology in computer software will probably attack those issues and we can solve it. Historically speaking, computer was used for number crunching, back office calculations or computations. But as we evolve, network is connecting computers and business process has been transformed. And now we are claiming we are in human centric era. When I joined Fujitsu 1976, see I'm old, 37 years ago, computer was the king. This was a huge mainframe, and you also have to learn very difficult language, and you have to punch the card, and you have to feed in to communicate with this king. And this king was sitting in the isolated room with very good condition, air condition, where programmers have to work without air conditions. But now we are in human-centric era. We gain the power, and we are the king. And we could take advantage of all those available new technology to solve our problems for our business and also for solving our problems in society. So this is the vision of human-centric intelligent society. It may still sound a bit philosophical, so I'd like to go through some examples with you. The first issue or first challenge we have is disaster prevention. As you know, Japan had a very big earthquake in 2011. I also learned that Italy also has earthquake once in a while. ICT, information communication technology, can help the people to prepare for these natural disasters. One example is tsunami warning system, which Fujitsu developed with the Japan Meteorological Agency. What they do is they pick 1,500 locations around Japan, which could be the possible area for causing the earthquake, fault. And they could also assume 6 different levels, 6 different depth of the that location, and they could also assume 4 different scenarios for the strength or magnitude. So 1,500 by 6 by 4, which is something like 3,600 scenarios are already stored in the database. They go through the simulation. And when the earthquake strikes the earth, the epicenter or hypocenter, the origin of the earthquake, is identified, and also the depth is calculated. So you could get the data already calculated from the database, and based on that they could run some simulation program and producing the tsunami warning. If you know that your village will be hit by tsunami, you could run to the high mountain to escape yourself. This is the simulation of actually what happened on March the 11th, 2011. And as you could see, from the time of the real occurrence of the earthquake and the tsunami hitting the coast of Japan, this time was like, this is now about 60 minutes, right? So you could take actions if you know what could be hitting you. So of course, the last time many people could not escape high enough. So we lost many people, but some people could escape. So this is one example. The second example is urbanization. Tokyo has a population of 40 million people, very crowded. But what we did with the city government was we worked with a taxi company, and taxi driver put the so-called probe, the sensor, attached to the dashboard. So whenever they move around the city, data center knows how fast the taxi is moving to which direction. So this would give the real-time information of the traffic movement, along with other information such as social media network, and also weather information and so forth. It could have the huge big data database of the status of the transportation. This could be used for the better city planning or traffic control or signal control and so forth. The next example is regarding the agriculture. Especially in Japan, we are facing the aging farmers issues. Average age of farmers are more than 65. And many young people don't want to be a farmer. They go to city and do something else. So how to keep the knowledge of old farmers, or how to make use of the deserted land farms are one of the key challenges. So Fujitsu has been working with the 10 pilot farmers or farming company to help them to improve the productivity of farming. One of the interesting examples is this cattle husbandry. There are many cows and bulls in Japan too. You might have had Kobe beef, which they feed beer, and they even give some massage and so forth to make it tender. But anyway, how to reduce the time of having a baby for a cow is one of the key issues. And they studied the behavior of the cows, and whenever they are ready to have mating, they move their foreleg very frequently. So they put the sensor on the foreleg, And this information is sent through cloud. So the farmers can always access the status of the cow's data. And when some cows start behaving like this, within 16 hours, or maybe around 16 hours after the start of this, if they fertilize, then the rate for having pregnancy goes up. So by doing something like this, they manage to shorten the period of reproducing a cow, baby cow, from 430 days to 380 days. Fujitsu also has this Akisai farm, this greenhouse, which is inside of the Fujitsu Numazu plant. We used to make computer, but now we make green leaves. Smart community. Fujitsu is also very active in helping the municipal government to do some pilot tests. This is one example from Aizu Wakamatsu region, which is in Fukushima area. And you may know that we are trying to move away from nuclear energy. So they established the so-called Energy Control Center. This is the joint effort between municipal government, Fujitsu, and also Tohoku Power Utility Company to have visualization of demand and supply. And as far as supply is concerned, hydropower, biomass, and also solar energy. Not only in Japan, but also outside of Japan, we are trying to achieve our Human Centric Intelligent Society vision. This happens to be in Saudi Arabia. Pollution is becoming an issue in Saudi, so we worked with the sort of industrial park and to monitor the level of air pollution, water pollution, and soil pollution. And Fujitsu is closely working with other companies such as Fuji Electric and also Meta Water to do this environmental assessment project. Elderly care cloud. Again in Tohoku area where we had a big earthquake, still 100,000 people are living in so-called temporary houses because they lost their houses. And quite a few senior people are living alone. So they have a hard time to go to the hospital. So rather than they go, the doctors visit these patients. But doctors cannot visit so many houses so frequently. So they are supported by the other people like caretakers and nurses and pharmacists. What they do is, again, they use the infrastructure, the cloud infrastructure, to share the information of the patient. So one patient, his health record is already stored in the cloud environment. So when the doctor goes to a specific patient, he knows exactly when the other members, such as nurses or caretakers or pharmacists, visit and what they did. And this is something that we are actively doing. So I think by now you may have some idea about what we mean by our Human Centric Intelligent Society. We are living on the very top dish or layer, which we call real world, and we are generating lots of data. And these data could be captured by some sensors or mobile phone or whatever, and it can create the big data. And big data could be analyzed and generate meaningful information. We call it knowledge or wisdom. And this would be used in the real world to improve the productivity or to solve issues, to save the people, whatever. So data becomes information, information becomes knowledge, and knowledge becomes wisdom. So this is the cycle. And our vision of Human Centric Intelligent Society is achieving this cycle. Before finishing my presentation, not Italian, but I'd like to share with you one story which our call center received from a customer who is a Fujitsu rack phone customer. My wife was washed away in the tsunami and passed away. But after 2 years, a water-resistant mobile phone from Fujitsu was found under some debris. When I plugged in, I was able to read the last email message my wife tried to send to me 2 years ago. I just wanted to say thank you. So the weight of responsibility borne by technology is sometimes bigger than we realize.